the end of an era, is it not? On Saturday, South Africa's only AFCON winning coach, Clive Barker, passed away. He coached the national football team that is regarded as perhaps the best the country has ever fielded. Dr. Khumalo, Helman Mkhalele, Shoes Musheu, Fanny Madida, Mark Fish, and of course, my captain, Neil Tovey. He led that class of 96, carrying the aspirations and dreams of a young democracy trying to heal deep and bitter divisions. His passing follows a brief illness. His family says he fought a brave battle and they are relieved he's now at peace. Neil Tovey is, of course, the winning captain from 1996 and joins us now. Neil, thank you so much for your time this morning. Who was Clive Barker to you?
Yeah, good morning all. He was like a father figure. I was fortunate to play under him in a number of teams, and in every team we had, we were very, very successful. And his biggest attribute was he was a player's coach. He would do everything to make it the most wonderful. Every training session was the most wonderful occasion, an enjoyable occasion. And when you start training and enjoying your training, and then you start enjoying your matches and enjoying your performances. And Clive was very, very unique in that way. And that's exactly what he did with that Bafana team when he started out there in around 94. It was a team that had huge, huge talent, but weren't really achieving what they could.
Yeah.
Yes, they had to pay their dues in international sport or international arena, and had to get the experience. But he created an atmosphere around that team that was unique to any other coach I've ever had. He wanted those players. You're all playing for your respective clubs, and it was a difficult time period because the fact that we had only ever played for our clubs, never for the national team, and it was a disjointed team, and he brought the team together. I loved to play for one another.
He had an ability to unlock greatness in others, did he not? And as you say, that was an incredibly talented team. I mean, even just reading out those names a little earlier on, I've got flashes of their brilliance in my mind. How did he deal with big egos?
At that, he was very much, he made, before I talk about the ego side of things, he would make Doctor feel like he was Pele. And make Doctor do what he was very, very good at on the field. He wouldn't expect Doctor to tackle and to defend like Linda Buthelezi, and he wouldn't ask Linda Buthelezi to play the kind of football that Doctor could play on the ball. And each player had their respective strengths. And another biggest attribute was blending those qualities together to formalize a team that would work, would play for one another, and undoubtedly win for one another. And so the egos were there in the success, but he never let them get out of hand. He would have the really great point of bringing them up so high and thinking they are so great, each and every player, but never letting them get to their head and get into the mind that they were above the game of football in themselves.
Gosh, what a great tribute. Neil Tovey, appreciate your time. Former Bafana Bafana captain there on the line, reflecting, of course, on the influence and career of Clive Barker. As I said, arguably the most successful coach we have had, certainly the one who got the trophy. Did we let him go too soon as Bafana Bafana coach ahead of that World Cup in France in 1998? The story I love of Clive Barker, KG, is when he coached AmaZulu and he got himself so imbued in the culture, right, of Usutu that he would pretend to be a touchline inyanga. So in other words, he would go to the touchline and he'd be spraying this water. People would think, is it enchanted water? Is it holy water? What is it? But he's so bought into the culture that he didn't he didn't interact with his fans and the club as an outsider, but he really did so as one of them, and may his soul rest in peace.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions.
Your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.